Welcome to the Credit Coach Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, Chaz, the Credit Coach. In this episode, I'm starting off a series that I am going to continue for 7 weeks. Every Tuesday, I'm giving a very detailed podcast about the series that I'm also starting on my Instagram Reels. So you get an Instagram Reels video every Monday for the next 7 weeks, and then every Tuesday right after that will be a very detailed breakdown of the information I give you on my Instagram. Stay tuned each week. Don't miss an episode because you have to catch up. I wanted to start this series because, well, first off, let me tell you what the series is called. The series is called How to Get Approved for Anything, Even If You Don't Have Credit History. So, I wanted to start this series because I realized I've never been denied for credit. Like ever. Even when I first started building credit. And that's not to brag, but that's just to say that I guess I know what I'm doing. In the beginning, I didn't know that I knew what I was doing because it still felt confusing. And I was like, am I making the right steps? Am I doing the right thing? Like, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? So it's like a constant trying to figure it out as I go. There were a lot of bumps in the road. I'll talk about that later on down the line in one of these other episodes. But my parents were pretty good about staying on me when it comes to my credit or anything in life, like being responsible, being trustworthy. And that just kind of flowed over into my credit as well. So I didn't know a whole lot about credit growing up, but I knew if I had a credit card, I needed to hurry up and pay it off. And that leads me to my first point. So the first part of the series, I'm going to teach you how to position yourself so that you can get approved for anything that you apply for. And I know this because this works. This isn't something you can get off Google and it gives you what I'm about to tell you. So when I say whatever I'm telling you in this series, this is what I've done. It's not what I've seen somebody else do and I haven't done it. This is what I've done. Now, moving to my first point. The first thing you want to make sure you do is understand credit. Learn the basics. The basics will take you so far. And I know that sounds like, oh, that means I got to research. That means I got to try to figure out this and this and that. I'm going to give you 3 points to what you really need to just focus on. And once you get this, you've got the basics of credit. First thing, what is credit? Simple. Second thing is, why is credit important? Why do I even need credit? And some people think that and then they never build credit until they need credit. And then they're like, dang, I wish I would have started building this before now. Yeah, you probably should have. As soon as you turn 18, you need to go ahead and start building your credit. So the first thing you should do is learn about credit first. So the third point is, how does credit work? This part has a few different components to it. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to make it easy for you. I put together a credit basics cheat sheet that I'm going to give you for free. Ooh, I don't like the way that looks. That I'm going to give you for free. So all you have to do is click the link. If you're watching this podcast video, click the link below in the description. If you want easy access to it, just go ahead, head over to chazthecreditcoach.com and you'll see a spot for you to be able to click the link and it'll take you directly to the credit basics cheat sheet. It has everything. It goes into detail. So if you guys want more detail in podcast form, just, comment, DM me something. Let me know what you want. I just don't want to over talk. And then you're like, this is boring, whatever. It might be boring, but I'm about to save you thousands of dollars. And I'm not even exaggerating. But let me stay on point. Let me stay on point here. Let me stay on track. What is credit? Why is it important? How does it work? Once you have those 3 things, you're pretty much good as far as the basics go. It's a continuous learning thing, but as long as you got the basics, you're good. So next thing is, I want to take a quick second to shift your mindset. So you learn the basics, but I want you to forget what you've learned about credit growing up, because times have changed. We need credit as opposed to what we were taught growing up as far as stay away from credit. And I'm going to specifically talk about credit in the Black community because that's how I grew up. That's the only way I can give this to you because I'm Black and I grew up this way. My parents weren't necessarily like making me, oops, I just hit the mic. My parents didn't like make me scared of credit, but they did warn me, you don't want to get into a bunch of debt. And of course they knew a bit about credit as far as what they learned, but I've been able to do a deeper dive into credit, especially since working in that industry. And I'm gonna stay on track, but I'll talk about that a little later. But I want you to think about this. Have you ever heard someone tell you, stay away from credit cards. If you can't pay cash for it, you don't need it. Or credit is bad, you don't need credit, you can just pay cash for everything. Everything goes back to cash, basically. And then you grow up, now we're grown, now we're ready to buy a new car or a used car or buy a house, get approved for a phone plan. And, they they do a soft pull of your credit to, basically see if you need to pay a deposit or not. Rent an apartment, things like that, you need credit. Well, I take that back. You need credit. You need good credit in order to avoid having to pay a deposit for certain things like that. But you need credit for sure to buy a car or house, unless you plan on coming out of pocket thousands of dollars to fund whatever you're trying to buy. That's the only way you're going to get around needing credit. So I really don't understand. I'm finna go off on a little tangent here, but I really don't understand when I hear people say things like Dave Ramsey, for example. And I'm not knocking Dave Ramsey at all. He has some really good points. But one thing that he encourages people to do is to get out of debt. Don't get into debt. Save up and pay cash for a house. Save up and pay cash for a car. But at the end of the day, and I do believe that he's talking to a certain audience, maybe people who need help managing their finances and things like that. But when I was, grew up certain parts of my life as a teenager, hearing Dave Ramsey, I thought this was for everybody. But luckily for me, I was already building credit when I got my first job, graduated college or whatever. So I don't believe that you should pay cash for everything. Matter of fact, if there's anything that unless I just have to pay cash for it, I use credit. Because why wouldn't I? If I know I'm going to need it, I already have a house, I already have a car, but in the future, I have business endeavors that I want to pursue. I want a bigger house. I know I'm going to need credit. So why wouldn't I continue to build my credit? So let's squash the misconceptions. Let's squash the incorrect information that you need to use cash for everything. If you can't afford it, you need to pay cash. I do agree with that to a certain extent. If you know if you have a credit card and it's got a $5,000, let's go low. It's got $1,000 limit. If you know you can't pay that, if you max it out and you know you can't pay that $1,000 back before you get that statement in the mail, don't do that. Don't do it unless, I will say, if there's an emergency, but you make the money, but you just don't have it in pocket right then. If you know you can pay it back, fine. But if you cannot afford it, you lost your job and you just racked up $1,000 worth of credit card bills, let's not do that. And in another episode after this series, I will tell you exactly how you can, navigate hardships if you have to max out a credit card or something like that. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Right now, we're just squashing the misconception of not needing credit. That's the mindset shift that I would like for you to make in order to maximize your approval chances when you do go to get credit. You need to remember that credit is helpful. See credit as a tool, as a resource. Don't just see credit as, this is something that's about to get me in debt. Just because I say build credit and use your credit, that does not mean you have to accumulate debt. That's a strategy, but I'm going to tell you about that a little later. So next thing about the basics. Learning the basics of credit can literally save your credit. And I say that because I'm going to put it this way. When you learn about something, but before you do that something, you can avoid mistakes. You can avoid digging a hole for yourself that you can't get out of. Let's say I have no idea what it takes to, let's say I'm new to credit. I have no idea about financing a vehicle. I don't know when do I have to pay the money back? What is interest? I don't know any of this. I don't even know to ask about any of this. So before I go buy a car, I need to learn about it. What's the car buying process? What terms do I need to know? What do I need to know before I go into a dealership to buy a car? Where does the money come from? You need to know these things. If you just walk into a dealership, they run your credit. They're not going to tell you in detail, okay, here's what you do. You do this, 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 this. They're going to say, oh, you don't have any credit. You need a cosigner or X amount of money down. And then you're still left with question marks because you're like, well, If you're new, what is a cosigner? Or, just different things that you don't know about. Or if you do get approved for it, you're still kind of lost because you don't know certain things. Where's the statement coming from? What is a statement date? What is a due date? Or just different questions. And I'm going based off of questions that I hear customers ask me. So you need to know about credit before you try to build it. Learning the basics of credit is much more important than applying for credit. You are setting yourself up for failure if you apply for credit before you even learn about it. Period. Uh, a little bit of backstory. I'm not going to talk about me too much because y'all not here for me. You here for the information. I know that because I'm like that. I don't want to, unless your backstory is going to help me, I don't too much really care if I don't know you like that. So I'm going to try to keep this not about me, but to help you. So just keep that in mind. So I work at a car dealership. My career background is in finance. I've managed personal personal finance companies. I've been a loan officer in a finance company. So I've been an underwriter to get loans approved. I've approved the loans. I've closed loans. I've done it all. I've collected on loans. I've done all of this. I've even borrowed money before. So I've seen it from every aspect. So I'm going to share some things with you that you won't find on Google. You probably won't find anybody else talking about this stuff. I'm diving deep. That's why I had to create a podcast, because I talk too much. I talk too much for Instagram Reels. So moving on, I got my little notes here because I have to keep myself on track because y'all, this podcast will be an hour long. My next point in learning the basics of credit is very important because you know what I'm tired of? I see this all the time. I'm tired of seeing all of these ads about, oh, get this card because it'll boost your credit booster. Pay $25 a month and we'll report it to your credit bureau that you're paying this on time and it'll build your credit. I'm sick of those commercials because they don't tell you that you're not building any buying power. You're just improving your score. You're raising your credit score. Yeah, you like, oh, well, what's the problem with that? The problem is you don't have any buying power. And I'm going to tell you what buying power is. It basically shows that you're capable of paying back X amount of dollars. So if you're just using credit boosters, lenders at a car dealership, or if you're going to buy a house, the mortgage lenders, I don't know if I can trust you with 150 grand worth of money to buy a house, or 250 grand to buy a house, or 15 grand to buy a car, because you have no buying power, because all you've been doing is boosting your credit score. That's just your score going up, but that's like, I'm not going to say that because no, I'm not going to say that. Anyway, so one day I was on the phone with a customer at the dealership, and she wanted to buy a car for her daughter. Well, her daughter was looking to buy a car and she was helping her. So she said, yeah, her credit scores like a 730, and we've been helping her. She's been building her credit. Her credit's better than mine, so I wouldn't even co-sign for her. She do it on her own. Okay, cool. I'm 700 or more. Let's go. You get whatever you want, boo. Come on. So we proceeded to have a conversation. I proceeded to have a conversation with the daughter and the mom. They were both kind of on the phone, on speakerphone with me. And then the mom said something, and it just kind of was like, okay, I guess I shouldn't have got excited. The mom was like, yeah, she doesn't really have anything on her credit. I just, something she said about boosting her score. And I was like, I wanted to tell her right then, ma'am, it's just like her not having, that's basically like she don't have any credit. Because a score is just a score. There's no substance in her credit profile. There's nothing to show that she can handle a $20,000 vehicle. It's just not. My job is to get people in the dealership. I get paid to get you there. So I really can't, I felt like I couldn't coach her because that had nothing to do with my job. That's what I do outside of work, and that affects my paycheck. So I still gave her some information and just kind of told her, come in and talk to somebody and let them pull your credit to see if this is the case. But it sounds like you don't have any buying power. You just have a high credit score. So that's equivalent to not having any credit, because There's no revolving credit, there are no installments, there's nothing to show that you have a good pay history on this and that you can handle a large amount of money and pay it back over time. So you'll just be a higher risk. I don't even think they ended up coming in, so that did affect my paycheck. But at the end of the day, she needed to know. She really did. I say all that to say, build buying power. These credit boosters only help your score. And lenders don't just look at your score, they look at your entire credit profile. And once you learn the basics, don't forget to grab that credit basics cheat sheet, because I talk about this too. The 5 components of a credit score is what you need to know, so that you'll know, okay, my score is low because I'm lacking a good payment history, or my score is low because I'm lacking a good credit mix, which is, a credit card and a car loan and a mortgage, like a mixture of different trade lines. So build buying power. Don't just build a credit score. That really doesn't help you. Again, just stay tuned for next Tuesday, because that's going to be part 2 of how to position yourself to get approved for anything you want. But it starts with the basics. Do not skip this step. I'm telling you, if you skip this step, you're digging a hole for yourself. And sometimes it's a hole that you can't get out of without filing bankruptcy. It's that serious. It really is. I feel like if more people understood the basics of credit and understood how credit works, more people would have better credit profiles and higher credit scores. But I'm just at a 789 credit score, so what do I know? Like, come on, y'all. I'm giving you all the answers. I'm giving you everything that you try to Google to build your score, improve your score, or go see somebody to repair your credit. I'm about to simplify all of that. I really am. And if you can't wait 7 weeks, I do offer a credit score accelerator program where in 4 weeks, really I can do it in a day, but that's a lot of information. So I break it down into one coaching session a week, and then I give you all the support you need. But every week we break down and discuss different things, and I literally help you build your credit. I help you learn about what it takes. You'll have access to a full resource library, lifetime access. And anytime I add different resources to it to help you with your credit, you'll automatically get those included with the coaching program. If you've been trying to figure out how to build your credit or improve your credit, stop doing it the hard way. Getting on Google, trying to find somebody to repair your credit when you really don't even know what's going on with your credit to know that you need it repaired. You just heard somebody say, oh, if you got this on your credit, you can get it removed. Come talk to me before you do that. I even offer free consultations. I will tell you if it sounds like you need to have credit repair or not. Because half the time, some people don't. And you're wasting your money because it's something that you can literally handle on your own. And I'm not trying to knock credit repair specialists at all, because they have helped a lot of people. I get that. But some of y'all don't be needing credit repair. You just go by what you hear. Somebody say, oh yeah, you can get this moved out for credit. Baby, if you owe it and ain't nothing faulty on your credit, don't let it look suspicious, they not going to take that off your credit because you owe it. But they're not saying that on Instagram. They're not saying that on YouTube. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you everything that's real. So either stick around for this 7-week series or join my coaching program. I even offer a little free quiz you can take to help you pinpoint what's holding your credit score back. So just go to chazthecreditcoach.com. I have all the information about the credit basics cheat sheet, the credit score accelerator program, and the quiz, the credit assessment quiz, to see if you are ready to start getting approved for anything you apply for. And I want to thank you so much for tuning into this podcast, because it's really been a dream of mine. I've always wanted to be an actress or a talk show host, and I feel like I got my own little talk show now. But I appreciate you for listening. I can't wait to see you succeed. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this credit building journey with you. And I will see you, I will talk to you next week for part 2 of the series, how to get approved for anything you apply for, even if you don't have any credit history. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Chaz the Credit Coach is teaching the credit game, and I'm going to show you exactly how to master the credit system. I'll see you next week. Bye.